Hello everyone, Derek's Damn Toys, and well, we aren't here for your stereotypical action figure review. Instead, we're actually here to celebrate the fact that we have been on this platform, aka the good old U of 2, for 3 solid years now. Been going long and strong, no diddy, but at the end of the day, this should be a nice little exciting video. Of course, I'm gonna talk a little bit about how I feel after doing this stuff for 3 years. Get into the good, the bad, and the downright ugly, as some other YouTubers would say, I guess you could say. But on top of that, I do also have some fix-ups / customs I would like to show off here. So, with all that being said, why don't we kind of just start talking about how I feel? So 3 years deep here on YouTube, I've been doing action figure reviews. I do unboxings every now and again. I also have kind of dabbled in the customs now. I don't know if I mentioned the pick fed, but I also do stuff with the pick fed, as you can kind of see here in the ring. This is from a match I'm currently working on at the moment. But it's definitely a little tough because, I'm not making any money off of this at all. I have not gotten to the point where I can be monetized. And even if I could, some of my videos do be getting copyright struck anyway, so I would make little to no money. Honestly, I'd probably own the people who are copyrighting me at that rate. But at the end of the day, I do really enjoy this. Of course, wrestling is a big hobby, a big passion, a big just entertainment field in my, I don't know, I guess you could say in my life. I was gonna say in my field of vision. That would have sounded fucking stupid. But I've loved wrestling for a very long time. I don't know if I've ever told the story, and if I have, well, you're gonna hear it again. Sorry, not sorry. But I first started getting into wrestling through the video games. I played SVR 2007, also known as SmackDown vs. Raw 2007. That's the actual name, but SVR for short. I played that with my cousin one night. He came over to my house. We were hanging out upstairs while my mom and his mother hung out and talked and bullshitted in the dining room and all that kind of fun jazz. And me and him would have a blast playing this. I always loved when he would bring it over too. Oddly enough, he himself is really not into wrestling like that anymore, but he kind of helped start what I would say would become a fucking addiction for me at that rate, because I do love wrestling. I really do. That's a little loud. God damn. Sorry, I don't be adding the music until I don't add the music after. I just play it while I'm going. So, womp womp, I guess, for that being a little loud. But yeah, it's kind of odd to think how my cousin's love for wrestling growing up actually kind of helped blossom my love for wrestling, and then the little bit of time I was able to actually share this passion with my mother. Of course, there's a long story there, but nothing too terrible, I should say. It's nothing like we fell out or some shit like that. Just not gonna get into it on here. But at the end of the day, fucking me and her would sit down and watch Raw. We would watch SmackDown. We would watch the pay-per-views when we could afford them, because it's not like we were made of money. Sadly, we didn't have just casual $60 laying around every month for the week of the pay-per-view. And it's just one of those fun things to just think about as time grows on, because, you know, I went from having like a handful of these fucking things to now I have like a whole display here, and I have figures on figures on figures. Like, let me just explain this a little bit more. All I can say is don't mind the mess. I gotta clean up in here after I'm done doing the like pick fed stuff up here for the UK tour, especially because I do plan on getting into another show, maybe not the same day, but hopefully like within a couple of days after I finish this one up. But yeah, you know, we've got figures on figures on figures on, well, very little figures down here blocked by a lampshade. We've got a messy backstage full of figures and action figure accessories from recent reviews and shit that I just haven't gotten to put away yet, because, you know, I'm a fucking adult and I work, so sometimes little messes like these I don't get to handle right away because I'm not always in here. But of course I had this tidied up actually a couple of, like a week or so ago, when I filmed a segment that I want to say it was a part of the last PickFed upload, so you'll see the little backstage brawling and shit of that nature. But I had it cleaned up for that, instantly made a fucking mess out of it. These are just kind of like figures I want to use in the PickFed, but I just don't know exactly when and or how I want to use these guys just yet. And well, some of them I do know how I want to use, like the Usos and Solo, and well, honestly, I do kind of know how I want to use the Great Muta. It's just kind of taking a little bit of time. But this isn't even the worst part of this bin. Now, this bin, or well, this bottom rack to this bin, has a lot of recent figures in it. Some of them are a little bit older too, like my Brody Lee up in here. I don't know why this is in here actually, because isn't my Mattel Luke Harper Brody Lee fix up in here? Yeah, so I don't know why he's in here. But yeah, this is all just like extra attires and shit like that. Figures who I may end up displaying, like this little fix up Brody here. I do want to see what this Brody would look like with the fucking Cactus Jack like cloth and fucking, what the fuck is that pattern called? The fucking flannel jacket. There we go. I couldn't fucking think of it for the life of me. But yeah, we've got this bin. And then again, as mentioned, don't mind the little messes and shit like that of just random figures scattered. But, you know, just taking a little deep dive into here, this is what I plan on using as a pick-fed roster bin in a sense. I've been technically using it for the longest time. Oh, hey, there's actually one of the fix-ups right there. I did not fucking plan this, mind you. I just genuinely forgot I made this. But, yeah, we've got this Tyler Breeze Pretty Deadly fix-up, so we'll show that off a little bit more later. But yeah, we've got some really nice figures up in here. That's all I'm gonna say, honestly. I've got a fucking lot. And that then continues over here, where this is all a bunch of other like recent like pickups and or like figures I use for figure photography and stuff of that nature. Here's another little fix-up that I also kind of forgot about. Kind of didn't really plan on showing this one off, but I put Kevin Nash Elite legs on this gallows, and honestly, I do fuck with it. I think it looks really good. It's just because of the formula and how the ratchet joints used to work on figures, the legs pop off on this. So yeah, that'll be a fun thing to explain, but maybe we can get into that a little bit later, as we also have this fucking tag bin in here full of superstars who I currently use and or maybe stars who I plan to use in the future, such as Undisputed Era.
But yeah, we've got a fucking lot of action figures, dude.
But yeah, so as you guys can tell, this has become a little bit more than a hobby. It's essentially just a full-blown addiction at that rate. At least my addiction is action figures and not heroin. But it can still be a little bit of a problem, especially when you spend the amount of money I tend to spend just to put action figure reviews out there as much as I can. And of course, I also try to mainly look for stuff that I want in particular. At the end of the day, it is my collection. I'm not going to pull the big reviewers type shit where you'll see me buy whole waves at a time. I review the whole wave, I rank them and stuff, though I would love to do that at some point, and I'm not knocking anybody for doing so, especially because, you know, that would essentially be me mocking my action figure goat, My Damn Toys, who I kinda used in a sense as inspiration for the action figure name that I use, as I'm sure you guys can tell with the Damn Toys ending. I just don't use My Damn Toys, I use my actual name. Probably not the smartest thing to fucking do, but womp womp, I guess. At least I'm not gonna talk about someone's dead fucking parents, but that's another story for a different day, huh? Anywho, if you get that one, you get it. If you don't, you don't. That was just a little bit of recent Instagram beef that has been getting shared around, and God, I can't stand the action figure community for bullshit like that. But then you get your great people. And I mean, you get some great people that you can find in the action figure community. For one of my personal best friends in the community right now, and still since like almost essentially day one. And I say it like that, though, we didn't meet day one of me joining YouTube and stuff like that. He eventually found my, like, Instagram and sent me a post, I want to say, and through there I gave him a link to the Fed, and he absolutely loved it. If you don't know who I'm talking about, he might know who I'm talking about. But I'm talking about my boy, my co-commentator for a lot of my bigger shows, and well, sometimes even the weekly shows, but my boy Tyler, also known as Action Figure Universe on Instagram, he's been a very, you know, been a very big supporter. That's what I was trying to fucking say. I just keep getting fucking tongue-tied, if I'm gonna be honest. And I'm honestly hoping I'm keeping this video fairly, you know, fresh enough for you guys that want to keep watching for some of these fix-ups and stuff of that nature. But yeah, you've got great people like my boy Action Figure Universe. You've got people like Paragon Pro, people like BZW. There's many more other fedders who I've personally talked to in the community and who I've technically worked with, because with my joint show, the one match I posted, Kenny versus Randy, was a part of a bigger joint show alongside some other pick fedders, but the other guys, I want to say they mainly just kept their matches like Instagram exclusive. I took mine to the YouTube stage in hopes that people would watch it, like it, maybe go check some of these other guys out on Instagram, though I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit of a lazy bitch and I did not put any links to any of their channels and shit, so my bad. But if you guys are watching, maybe leave a link in this one, or go back to that video and leave your link, so then that way people can, or your at maybe, so people can go find you and go follow and go support in the community. That's the way it should be. Supporting and spreading positivity. I didn't even say spreading right. Jesus fucking Christ. I need to go to bed. I've been up since 10:30 yesterday night. A little bit earlier than that, in fact, but I don't think I fully woke up till I got to work. Anywho, that's another struggle, I guess you could say, when it comes to doing this and working an actual job, is honestly, no matter how many days off I get, unless I only worked like 2 days a week, I don't feel like there's any true way I could get content out quicker than I do right now, working my stereotypical 9 to 5, I guess you can say, though I do not work 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. But yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's been a very crazy couple of years here on YouTube. Of course, if you've seen my action figure collection video, you would know this collection was not small by any means when I first started, but it has certainly grown into a fucking conglomerate of its own. After all, I've gotten to the point where in my own apartment, I have a room dedicated to my action figures just because of how many I have. And, well, realistically, I like to sleep comfortably in my bed, so having a bunch of shit in my bedroom it fucks with me, like, claustrophobic wise, but we won't get into that. It's not like I'm being, like, smushed into a tight space. This isn't really fucking killing me type shit, but meh, it's whatever. I think I've tortured you guys long enough, 15 minutes deep, and we haven't even really shown off any of these fix-ups yet. We've got Luke Gallows with the leg swap here. We've got Tyler Breeze wearing the Pretty Deadly gear, which honestly, this might be one of my favorite fix-ups. All it really took was me getting the neck peg switched out on this, I want to say it was Elton Prince body, but I'm not exactly too sure. Whichever one has the brown hair out of the tag team. But yeah, I got an extra one of him, and I was able to pull this beautiful little piece off here. Nothing too major, just a simplistic little head swap. Swapping the tassel fur boot piece things onto the boots, which I did actually keep the Pretty Deadly boots because I thought those actually looked sick as fuck. And then you add the fur boot tassels. What the fuck just happened there? Well, my big custom I was gonna show off here today just fucking took a tumble. So hopefully that does not continue to take any more falls here tonight. But yeah, we've also got the Luke Gallows. I'm sure I did say something about the Luke Gallows a second ago when I threw him on the screen. Simple little quick fix-up, though I have a lot more to do with him that will possibly turn this into me just buying another Luke Gallows and hoping that that one poses better than the one I had, because the one I had, I couldn't even throw a fucking, like, super kick out with it. I had to, like, kick his leg up in a certain position and shit. It sucked. It really did. And I did plenty of hot water treatment and stuff like that. None of that ever seemed to fucking work, so I decided to try to swap the legs. I did the method where you have to break the leg up here, because Luke Gallows, for those of you who don't know the older, like, formulas, there were two different sets of ball hinges. Yeah, hinges for the crotch pieces. You had the smooth ball joints, and then you had the ratchet joints, which is what Luke Gallows was on. And the only way to leg swap a ratchet joint figure is to break the fucking legs off, essentially. And instead of them leaving the ball hinge, that is oddly enough a separate sleeve from the ball piece or the, you know, ball joint, it came off the figure, and now because they won't stay on the crotch piece, the legs pop off, so that's fucky, but it does pose around still fairly alright. It's just sometimes I gotta pop the legs back on, because both legs will pop off. All because they glued the ratchet piece inside of that little fucking leg piece there where the hip, the upper thigh cut is. So fuck Mattel on that one, I guess, but hopefully I can find one that's a little bit better. Another little simplistic fix-up here, because I got that new JD McDonough Elite the other day. I thought it would kind of look cool to see what he'd look like with no wrist tape, but in his wrestling gear still, so I did it with the first Elite JD, and honestly, I think it kind of looks a little badass here.
Like, it kind of gives me the fucking, like, older wrestling vibe. Like, he's just coming out to put on a grapple war. He's gonna slam you down, take you down, and pin your ass 1, 2, 3. And he's gonna just go on and carry the championship for 7 years or whatever the fuck. Not Bob Backlund. What the fuck is his name? God damn, I can't remember. Sorry for cursing, mind you. I've been cursing like a sailor this whole video, but fuck it. Who cares, I guess, realistically. Sorry for the kids watching, though. Probably should put a disclaimer at the beginning of this, honestly, though. Realistically, we're not, because I'm not going to edit this video. Anywho, another little simplistic fix-up. Putting small knee pads on this RVD Ruthless Aggression Elite definitely takes the cake there for one of my favorite RVD elites. Though I think the From the Vaults RVD might have to take the cake for my favorite RVD Mattel figure that we've gotten so far. Speaking of one of my other favorite RVD Mattel figures that we've gotten so far, this is actually using the head from that most recent From the Vaults figure. I mainly just decided to use this for, well, the video showing, but technically this is a long-term fix-up too. We've got his first Elite with a knee pad swap that I've had on this for like ever now. And then I put double jointed arms on this boy. I'm sure you can guess who gave him his double jointed arms, Mr. JD over here. And yeah, honestly, I don't know, I kind of was contemplating doing this look for the RVD, knowing that he's done it a couple of times in the past. But I didn't really think the look here would like suit it. This is his return run type of attire. He never did that in his return run, though. Who cares, really, honestly? Sometimes it's just all about what you want to create, and if you're willing to take the time to make customs and shit, well, fuck it, do you, buddy. Hopefully your paint jobs don't look like shit if you choose to paint or do anything of that nature, but yeah. Speaking of looking like shit, we can now get into the actual full-blown customs. No simplistic little swaps here. At least these are more simple in my opinion, as all it takes sometimes at worst case value with some of these figures is a little bit of knife play. So like RVD here, I had to shave his shoulders and shit down. So then that way the arms would actually fit on there and fit on there quite nice. Seeing how nice I did it on this RVD also inspires me to want to take some of my other previously swapped arms figures and yeah, the like double jointed swap and shave the shoulders down a little bit more so the double jointed arms will fit on the pegs better. But enough said with that. We're getting into the customs here. Now this one I'm saying is now a complete custom. Well, could use a hand swap technically, but thankfully that's simplistic enough now. But this was gonna be like a full actual gear, depending on how long they were gonna make us wait for this gear. And while they ended up giving us prototype images and stuff like that at San Diego Comic-Con, we've got the War Games gear, CM Punk here, and while he doesn't have any fucking kick pad designs, god damn, what is it, like the bass in the fucking speaker that's taking this man out? Got me checking the fucking figure like it's a baby or something, because I don't want the decals to get fucked up on it. Because, you know, now we're getting into the actual customs. But yeah, this figure has no kick pads on it at all. Or, well, yeah, no kick pad designs on it at all. But I did get all the trunk logos here. And, well, all of them, for the most part, applied fairly well. This one here, for instance, though, did crack up a little bit. I want to say this one also did crack up a little bit towards the bottom. We've got a little bit of cracking on the back one, but not nearly half as bad as this front logo here. Yeah, let's not talk about that. Still not a terrible custom though, for what it is. Especially because, you know, that is my first ever, like, custom in my opinion. I actually took the time to get decals and put decals on this punk, and I am actually fairly fucking proud of myself with this one, I'm not gonna lie. But another one I am fairly proud of, and that looks honestly a lot cleaner, is probably gonna be this Clash 2024 Drew McIntyre. No knee pad designs though. I was gonna put those on, but they're a fucking bitch, and I'm not gonna take the time. I am a little too impatient for that, not gonna lie. But simplistically enough, it is just the Clash tights on a, what is it, like Elite 89 Drew McIntyre, so before they started using the paler skin tone. But yeah, I think it looks super fucking clean in my opinion. I just used the original, like, belt thingies here from the original design, covered up a couple of them to use for this area, and placing them down. But yeah, it looks really fucking good in my opinion. A little bit of crackling on the bottom side of the decals there where it wraps around. But honestly, that you're not supposed to really see that anyways. No crackling on the back one either. So that was a beautiful work of art, I guess you could say. But now, for the real work of art, the real treasure here. And I say it like that because this took me hours. And when I say hours, I mean hours, because I had to wait for like layers of decals technically to set, as there's what, 4 on the trunks alone, and then you've got the back tattoo and the arm tattoo and just crazy shit like that. But you might actually know what I'm talking about based off of the, what was it? Honestly, fuck, I can't remember what review it was, but there was a review I did not that long ago where I kind of teased this figure coming at the end. And well, I'm not gonna lie, I'm just gonna just take a second and play him in real quick. I feel like this figure deserves an entrance.
Mr. Kennedy!
It is true, your boy has made a Mr. Kennedy custom, kind of based off of his WrestleMania, 22 gear, where he was in the Money in the Bank ladder match. Mr. Kennedy gears, simplistically enough, are simple, thankfully enough. I don't know what the fuck I was trying to say with that last one, but yeah, these are all hand applied by me, decal wise, looking really nice too. Like if you look in here, you can technically see the KK logo in the middle of the like white gear and stuff like that. It's just the trunks are a little dark to pick it up on camera. But you've got the Mr. Kennedy here on the buttocks. You've got his Joker tattoo here, which, mind you, I will say all of them, except for his fucking back tattoo, were easy to apply, and even then, this one was also a pain in the ass. Or yeah, was like, I don't know, it took me 3 attempts to get this. Like, I used all 3 decals to get this back tattoo where it is, and it's still a little off, I'll be honest. I'm not gonna front, I'm sure you guys might be able to see that. But yeah, dude, like, this is fucking phenomenal here. I used the Jack's head. It actually kind of fits the body type quite well, in my opinion. Maybe a little oversized, but honestly, fuck it. Who cares, dude? This is top tier quality shit. And who knows if we'll ever get a Mr. Kennedy from WWE and Mattel. honestly, I would love to see people like Mr. Kennedy get a figure. I would love to see people like, what's his name? Fucking, oh god, I'm having a hard time remembering this guy's name. Oh, Maven. My fucking bad. I don't know why I couldn't remember Maven Huffman. I literally was watching him yesterday. Hey guys, Maven here. Anyway, sorry for the little trigger there, I guess. I said Maven's name and just couldn't get his intro out of my head. But yeah, you know, I would just love a lot of those older superstars who we don't see in the line. Like, we recently just got fucking Albert in the Elite line after not being in the Elite line since he was technically Lord Tensai. And even then, he only had the one Elite figure under the Lord Tensai gimmick, so it's nice to see him return to the line technically, but first time for the Albert gimmick, or Prince Albert. They just, you know, don't want to reference a dick piercing on their children's toy packaging. But that's for a different topic. If you don't know what a dick piercing is, kiddos, go ask your parents, and don't say where you learned it from, because then they'll probably tell you to stop watching the videos. Which you probably should do, honestly, if you're, like, under the ages of, like, 14, honestly. Because, God forbid, I have raunchy humor. But, yeah, on that note, this is already 30 minutes long. Jesus fucking H Christ. On that note, forgive me, Lord, for I have used your name in vain, though I am not a Christian man, I would say. I am just a man of many beliefs. You could almost say I'm polytheistic. But, anywho, on that note, have a good rest of your day. I'm getting ready to fucking just kick y'all right out. You think I'm just gonna fuck my intro up like that? Well, I already fucked it up, technically. But if you guys would like to, feel free to like the video if you guys did like the video. If you guys didn't like the video, well, womp womp, I guess. But if you guys did like the video, feel free to go check out some of my other action figure content. We do plenty of different kinds of content here, I'd say, between the stereotypical reviews, as we've actually got 2 of them that are uploading today. We've got the JD McDonough that actually did get posted about an hour ago. So if you guys haven't watched that yet, go check that out. And, well, this will definitely be out more than likely by the time I remember to post this video. But we've got a lot of different action figure reviews. We've got pick-fed content. We've got unboxings. We've got little fixes for little simple things, like say your action figure's leg isn't moving forward in the modern day era of 2025 and it just snaps back into place and shit of that nature. If you watch the Braun Breaker review that I did recently, you'll understand exactly what I mean. I've done fixes for stuff like that. Maybe not always the most preferred way, but it's methods that I've used for years and methods I will continue to use. If anything, I will probably invest in doing the hairdryer method at some point, though, as my buddy did have a good point. It does help relieve less like stress marks and tension on the figures themselves, because the plastic's not as soft as when you boil them. But hey, the hot water method does work. Just don't boil them like you're boiling a fucking body or something. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying there. But you don't want to remove any of the sealer or the paint or anything of that nature that Mattel puts on these bodies, because, well, you might find a fucking interesting color awaiting you once you reach the actual skin tone, or, well, skin tone of the plastic and not the skin tone of the person they're making the plastic into. But hey, anywho, I digress. On that note, one more thing, if you guys could, feel free to subscribe. After all, it is free to subscribe. For whatever fucking reason, I don't know. We're playing the little glorious loop of going up and down this season. So we've got 413 subscribers right now. The other night it was 414, I want to say. So we only lost one. It's not the biggest deal. Hopefully, if anything, someone might have just unsubscribed by accident. Whoop-de-doo. And even if not, we'll probably gain that sub back. It's probably the dude who's mad in that Instagram beef because I posted my opinion on it on my story. Whatever, though, on that note, I'm not talking too much about that shit because it's not my beef to get into, really. If it's going to be public beef, don't be shocked when people want to post their opinions about it. On that note, though, I digress. Have a good rest of your day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I don't know, because I'm not in your time zone. And if I were, would I enjoy my time? I don't know. But, yeah. Deuces. Ooses.